Yo, I'm SourSync, and this is my remix of These Days by Carter Reeves. If you haven't heard Carter Reeves, he is wicked. Go and check him out. His new tune, his new single, These Days, is a banger. I'll show you a snippet of his actual single before I even start, because it is sick. Here we go.
I'm investing in my future. Hope this shit is prepaid. If you ask me how I'm doing these days. I'm alright, been a little world tight, keep it moving. Just somebody have a lot, I always lose it. Mix a little sunshine with the one to remind me.
Yeah, so it's just wicked, and his voice is sick. And I can't thank Carter enough for just getting me on board and letting me remix his song. I'll run you through some of the stems to start with, like the drums, the bass, guitars. I've got drums, sound like this. So like nice percussive vibes going on. Sounds like there's some acoustic drums in there as well. There's like a section over here which has like, you know, some haze and just the percussion itself. So I tend to go for an approach where I'll listen through everything and just try and take any nuggets that I think, oh yeah, like this is good, that's good. So, at the start, before I even, think about what the remix is going to be or anything, I'm just listening through the stems. I'm just working out what I like about each stem, what I think I should take, and then I'll actually just duplicate those stem tracks, pull them up and start manipulating. I've got here as well, the bass. This bass is sick. So like you got this kind of like nice wah thing going on, and there's lots of really nice fills in there, and those fills are really important because if you get them in a remix, they're great because then you can just reuse that stuff. Guitar, again, same again really. Especially this intro guitar. This intro guitar is actually a feature that I use. And then you've got the backing vocals. So nice like radio effect, that sort of thing. And then of course you've got the lead vocal, which has all the effects on it. So it's already there. It's already popping. Sounds just how I kind of want it to sound. And again, like Carter has so much character in his voice. Like he's just such a wicked singer. So it was a lot of fun to play with, definitely. So right, I'll run you through what I kind of done.
I could use a drink, but I'm on the freeway. 20 minutes left, I've been hitting delays. Sorry, but I think I'm gonna be a bit late. Don't ask me how I'm doing these days. I'm alright, been a little world tight, keep it moving. Just somebody have a lot of.
So like a few elements I really love. Serum Patch, which I love Serum. I think it's great. It's really kind of, I like the layout. I like the way it's just so simple to use. So I've got this Flume Rushing Back. If you haven't heard that tune, go check it out. It's sick. I think I made a preset, like a remake of it at some point, and this is kind of how I ended up doing it. And then you've got pretty much my favourite plugin in the world, Sketch Cassette. Sketch Cassette is wicked. Sketch Cassette gives you that kind of flutter, those dropouts, just that tape sound, a lot cleaner without it. But that just adds a lot of sort of grit to it that I like, saturation, things like that. But then the other thing that I always, I do every now and then, or at least I felt like doing it in this track, is I add ambience. So you've got this ambience track, and here I've got like people at the beach, because to me the track sounds quite LA, just kind of gives me that beach vibe. So I thought like just hearing some seagulls, some kids playing, that sort of thing, just to me just kind of painted the picture. So I kind of use that throughout. Like there's a few moments whenever it goes down dynamically, you're going to hear that kind of, basically you want to feel like you're outdoors, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted people to feel like they were outdoors at this point. Again, really simple actually. This track is so simple. So the beat, I I've used some of the percussion from the original drums straight away. I must have stolen that from maybe like the from one of the earlier sections. Where is it? Somewhere here even, I think. So like later on actually. But yeah, I must have just pinched that and used that layered up with my drums to keep the vibe, but also just to add that movement, you know. Probably added, yeah, just some saturation on that as well, just dirting it up a bit. Yeah, and the kick drum's quite mellow here as well. Like it's not too like, you know, too low, whereas like here obviously it starts getting a bit more in your face, but that's intentional. It's going into the pre-chorus. You got this. Yeah. So basically, it's the original drums just sped up. Like basically, I do that a lot as well. So I'll just take any bit of audio from the original track, speed it up, slow it down, just see if I find stuff that inspires me, and then I can just pull it in and yeah, start messing around with it really. Bass, an 808. I've got it going into a crossover. This crossover here is basically an effects rack, splits the lows from the highs like that, so I can manipulate it separately. So then I've got some more like distortion on the highs, I've got some tape saturation, spreading it left and right, bit of room ambience, some more distortion because I like distorting reverbs. So any reverbs, anything like that, it's nice to distort. And then again, just chopping out the low end. Sorry. I could explain this in more detail if anybody wants, which yeah, I'd be happy to do as well. But anyway, yeah, just that here, just chopping the lows, compressing them an awful lot, and that's it. Then after all of that, for both of them, I've then just got some sidechain compression and a limiter on all of that at the end. So that's kind of how it sounds. Then I got the bass guitar layered in with that, which kind of sounds like this. And that's really kind of hairy. Like again, I've probably, what have I done here? I must have just added some distortion to it, and then, you know, boosted some of the top end, and also here as well, I've added a load more top end. I kind of want the character of the bass, and I really want to hear the notes more than provide bass, if you know what I mean. So it's more the performance that I'm looking for, and that human element, rather than bass. So as you can hear, I've cut out all the low end there. The synth, we've got an airy gate come in, so I've just got some hiss with a gate side chained to the 808 by the looks of things. So yeah, the whole synth actually. So before the synth is just running, and then when this comes on, the bass actually triggers the synth. So it's just with a bit more air to it, basically. That's all I've done there. But that, you know, that just helps add a bit more life to it, makes it a bit different. Again, I think at this point I've been just trying to maintain the structure of how the song kind of runs. The pre-chorus is kind of where I change things up. Yeah, so the guitar that was in the intro, basically, I've taken it and put it into a sampler, a simpler. Just taking the stem, throwing it straight in, and you know, you basically just you can just chop it up in slice mode and then play it back. So I tend to just experiment with stuff like that, and that's obviously after just fooling around with it for a little while. This is kind of what I come up with. The drop. So in the drop, I've got really simple beat. So I just want like a 4 to the floor almost. Is it 4 to the floor actually? Yes, it's kind of, but like half time. You know, that kind of slow, but nothing too complicated. With a few itty bitty bits here and there in terms of percussion. And then, you know, a couple of extra kicks here and there as well. That double time kind of sample that I did as well, just to break it up in the middle. And then I got a little beat helper here as well. I don't know where I took this from. It's just a little sample. Yeah, so it's kind of like, which just kind of gives this little bit of wobble to it, you know, sort of thing. So if I just play that with it, you know, it's just going to give that little bit of groove to it, and some reversed snare. So like, you know, just I tend to just like temporarily just whack a reverb on a snare and on a kick, and then I will then just quickly solo it, play it back, resample it, pull it in, and then just have a reverb snare, reverse snare and a reverse kick. So I use reverse kicks at the end there, but I tend to do that, then just take the reverb off, and then just reverse the clip and just use that, because I tend to find that just really helps just add a bit of groove, especially if it's like a slow beat. You can just kind of create that anticipation into the next beat. And then let's just go straight to this synth, which is like the main kind of element, I guess, which is this little guy. And this consists of 2 layers. So we've got the upper layer, which is kind of the upper harmonics, which is this. And this is, I mean, as you can see, it's a super simple patch. There's nothing fancy going on here, really. It's a real small envelope. So if I was to get rid of this flex groove, it's just like one little, pop. That's it. With a filter, which is automated by the cutoff and the envelope. You got this flex groove here. Flex groove basically it's a Max for Live device. I suggest trying it out. It's sick. It creates like, kind of, I'm going to really mess this up. I'm not even going to explain it. It creates cool rhythms, but it still fits within the bar. So with the bass, I've literally just taken out all the harmony, duplicated it over. This MIDI clip here, duplicated it down to here. And then another serum patch with just a sine wave, quite low down with, again, with the envelope really short. And then the plugins on it, I probably even just duplicated it down actually, and then just a little bit of what have I got here. This is a free plugin actually, with the pressure, compression, some air, just trying to squeeze a bit more out of it. And then I've got a limiter on there, max bass, so just some more upper harmonics. Yeah, that's just sidechain to the kick drum so that the low frequencies just get out of the way a little bit when the kick hits. That is it. And then the 2 together sound like this. There is also like a transient shaper on here, and some automation going on, some more sketch cassette, some more sidechain compression. Erosion, that's really cool. It's a stock plugin. It's basically noise. So without it, it sounds like that. With it, to my ears, just sounds like you're just pushing air through. So it's like my go-to air plugin. Like if I just want some air, pull this up, wide noise, somewhere around here, experiment depending on the sound. Then again, more fresh air, just air, love air. That's kind of it for this section. Verse 2, what do we have? Again, I really wanted to just try and leave as much space as I could for the vocal. The vocal in this section is sick. For me, I think one of the most important things when remixing is you want to just give the listener something that they haven't heard before. Like that's kind of the whole theory behind this chorus, actually. This drop, should I say? Because with this drop, it kind of goes in. It kind of sucks you into it, whereas a lot of the vocals and everything has a lot of space to it. So for me, I think it was really important to just try and take the listener away for a little while, and then just create a little bit of a new vibe, so that you can just it sounds like you're listening to something new, even though you already know the track, you know the vocals, the vibe. So that's something that I find really important if I'm doing a remix.
I'ma get my life back together Monday in the sofa Volvo.
Again, just using that bass wherever I can. A synth pops in and out.
Ask me how I'm doing these days. No complaints, saying no complaints.
Here's where I thought, right, I really want to change things up, get the beat up a little bit, make things a bit more exciting. So,
no complaints, saying no complaints. What's another day?
Basically, it's all done with this bass, which is that 808 bass that I had earlier. So here's where I've just turned off the sidechain, and all of a sudden you just hear the transients just like boom, go, Yeah, you know, and there's like a glide on there and stuff, so that's cool. Again, the upper harmonics going to the reverb. I'm going to talk about the vocal a little bit now. I wanted to just maintain the original kind of vibe of the song, the original vibe of the vocal. I just didn't feel like I needed to go anywhere with it. I was really happy with it. The only bit I have done is in the drop. I've just taken a chop that I liked, and I think it was literally, you can see it here, this last line. Cruising. And this cruising, all I've done here is transposed it down 3 semitones at this point. So it's just cruising, cruising. And then it's just, yeah. And then as you can see, I've actually manually chopped this. Sometimes you can do it with a sampler. There's a few different ways, but in this case, just done it manually. It looks like at some point, yeah, look, I've had it like double, and then, you know, I think some decisions have probably been made where it's like, I tend to do this a lot. Throw everything at it, and then I'm like, okay, right, now just take it all away. Ah, there we go, there's the tune, you know. So it's always good to just, you know, I guess just kind of go with whatever's feeling good, but then 9 times out of 10 just kind of dial that back, and yeah, you end up with something that's better, to be honest, half of the time. The bridge. So the only other thing that's really quite different here, I guess, again, we're going back to that synth in the intro. So that synth that we've used all the way through. Really simple, just thought go straight back to it. The other thing is this Lyre harp. I love using live instruments wherever I can. You know, it just adds a vibe. And in fact, any producer should get a Lyre harp, right? If you just want instant vibes, get this right here. Yeah, look at this. Oh, that was terrible. Obviously, when you tune it, it tends to sound a lot better, like it does in this tune. But like, this cost me 25 quid. 25 quid, and it's just such a it's just such a vibe maker. I love it. I love little instruments like that. I think in fact, I plan to do like a whole section in my little studio here, where I just literally, yeah, have weird little instruments I can just make noises with. So I'm just running it through some reverb, which is being automated, then sketch cassette yet again. It's just sick. Then some more EQ, and then just a utility, which is probably just cutting things out. Yeah, like it's just doing a little cut there. Just volume, basically, so that I don't have to automate on the track, because that just gets messy when you're writing. So, alongside the ambience that I talked about earlier, so you've got the ambience of like the people at the beach, and that is literally it. And then you get to this last chorus, and I think for the last chorus in this one, I just went for a very traditional approach of build things up. So I've just brought in that 808 bass at the end here. So instead of the layered up bass that I had earlier, I've probably just taken that out. Yep, I've taken that out and replaced that with the more legato bass, which, you know, it's just creating that kind of, you know, more open, everything's just a bit bigger sort of thing. And then the same again with this main synth, and then I would have just opened up cut-offs and things. Yeah, you see everything's just automating upwards. The other thing I've done here is just sidechain compressed my melodic bus. So I group everything is grouped like this. So drums, melodic, and then vocals, generally like that, and then I got the stems. So really, really simple. I could talk about this in more depth, but like basically everything is just being really heavily sidechained at this point to the drums. Not yet, actually. Happens in a sec. And it just creates this kind of pumping sound, just creates that extra space for the vocal. To me, just adds a little bit more, I don't know, to me it just sounds better, just more production value to my ears. And then my little secret, Mondo mod, the only reason I say a little secret is I don't see anyone else using this. I think it's sick. This little flutter preset is basically the only one I use, with this all the way up, and it you know, especially on like a master bus or something, it just creates this cool little, you know, you just automate the speed of that. It's nice. I like the character of it. That's kind of it. Then there's this cool little vibe at the end where I must have just caught from one of the vocals in the BVs. Again, just some really creative stuff from Carter here, actually. That's sick. Like, I've never thought to do something like that. You know, go. Like, it's just cool. So I just thought that's actually really cool. I'm just going to use that at the end there. I just use the cruise-ins, and that kind of really summarizes everything. If I've missed anything and you want to know more about any particular bit, or just, I don't know, deeper into my process, it's something that I really want to look into doing more of, and yeah, get into it. So yeah, I don't know. If there's any more that you want, let me know. Again, thank you, Carter, so much. Carter Reeves, go check him out. He is sick. He's got some fucking sick tunes, and he is just a wicked guy as well. Like, we've only, you know, I met him online actually, and, you know, he reached out to me and said, you know, asked if I wanted to do this remix, and I'm honoured, absolutely honoured to do it. It's been so much fun to do, and I've learned a lot from doing it. I'm still, you know, it's quite early on for me doing remixes, and I've got to say I'm really enjoying it, and to have this opportunity from Carter is sick. So yeah, man, can't thank him enough. Go check out his music, he is sick. So yeah, I'm Soursync, and this is my remix These Days by Carter Reeves. Thank you very much. Goodbye.